You don't see the screen?
You boo.
All right. All right. The following are laws in which that you can utilize in any case in which that you have. The Supreme Court of Colorado has ruled Colorado Anti-Defamation Commission versus Case 380, 1962. Natural rights. Now, for you to have natural rights, you must identify yourself as a natural person. Simple. So that's the purpose of nationality, is to identify yourself as a natural person, indigenous person. It says natural rights, inherited rights, and liberties are not the creature of constitutional provisions, either at the national or state level. The inherited human freedoms with which mankind is endowed are antecedent to all earthly governments, rights that cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws. So, what laws are there in which that are part of natural right, which is part of natural law, in which that natural persons do not have to abide by? Because it says that it cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws. Because these are rights derived from the great legislator of the universe. In other words, derived from God. So
Natural
where's this
laws.
shown at? Right. So where's this shown at within the constitutions? Remember, you have the Constitution for the United States of America. You have the Articles of Confederation. You have the Declaration of Independence, and you have the Articles of Association. Those are the four constitutions. Where are your inherited human freedoms spoken of in the constitutions? Anybody know?
Talking about the Bill of Rights?
No.
Not necessarily. Okay.
No, not necessarily. But it is mentioned in one of those four constitutions. Which one is it mentioned in? Because the Bill of Rights is part of the Constitution for the United States of America, which is the first 10. The ones after 10 are questionable, as we all know. Even Noble Drawley said there would have been no need for it if they would abide by the Declaration of Independence. There would have been no need for the 13th, 14th, or 15th Amendment, which is the Bill of Rights. Y'all remember that? So when they say that Prophet Noble Drawley did not deal with the law, then why did he make mention of that fact? Right, to help you all out. It's in the Declaration of Independence. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are the rights that cannot be repealed or restrained by human laws. These are rights derived from God.
Okay, you're talking about the God-given rights.
Right. Because remember,
Which would be
the Constitution guarantees these rights, not give them. So remember, the Constitution guarantees these rights, but it does not give the person the rights. So really, you don't have constitutional rights. You have natural rights, natural law as a natural person. But because we allow for them to change us into an artificial person or corporation, now we are a corpse. And we now use statute, codes, rules, regulation, ordinances, policies, etc. So,
which are corporate laws. Okay, but
right.
nature is God, nature's law. Oh man, got the back of my head too, but
It's all
can't
right.
think.
The life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are mentioned in the Declaration of Independence. That is what you have: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are not repealed, nor can they be restrained by human laws. For these are rights provided and derived from God. Thus, the only way the government will contract with you is if you waive your constitutional guarantees, which is called your unalienable rights, and agree to be under their jurisdiction.
Dr. Lim,
Yes.
that particular right was basically categorized under the individual rights. So
Right.
it's different from a corporation. I yield.
Right. Under human rights. Exactly. Because it's under human laws. Yep.
And all that comes before civil rights.
Oh, yeah. But as Malcolm said, you must first be recognized as a human being, or as an indigenous being, or person, or as a natural person. And the only way that we can do that is by way of our nationality, because it states that truth must be expressed in a form of an affidavit. Your truth must be expressed in the form of an affidavit. If not, then there's no truth in which that has been expressed, and thus you are living a lie. You're living a lie because only truth is put within the form of an affidavit. So when you hear more say you don't need paperwork, they're lying to themselves and they're lying to the people. They don't know the maxims of laws. A sovereign is exempt from suit, levy, claims, liens, not because of any formal conception or obsolete theory, but on the logical and practical ground that there can be no legal right as against the authority that makes the law on which that the right depends. When you put your nationality into the court case, you actually transform the court into a common law court. It's no longer operating under admiralty or maritime. You have brought everything back to land because nationality means natal, nativity, national, navy, which you brought onto the land. So you have come from out the water onto the land. And by stating that your nationality is a Moor, you tied yourself back to the land because Moors is embedded inside the definition of land. It is the doctrine of common law that the sovereign cannot be sued in his own court without consent. So you give them consent. This is why when you go to court, you have a restricted appearance or special appearance, stating that you're only there under threat, duress, and coercion. You're not a 14th Amendment citizen because the 14th Amendment was never fully ratified. And based on the Dred Scott case decision, you're not a U.S. citizen, nor will you ever be. The court has to prove jurisdiction over subject matter and personam. They can't. Thus, you as the sovereign cannot be sued unless you give them your consent. So if you're there bouncing your damn head saying, yeah, boss, yeah. No action can be taken.
Dr. Lee?
So what?
How would you go about changing the court to
I just said it. When you put in your documentation as a Moor, your nationality into the documentation. When you put it into court, when you take it down and you put it into the criminal division of the court case.
Okay.
You change the court from Admiralty Maritime to a common law court.
Okay.
Because your truth has been expressed in a form of an affidavit. Your nationality has transformed the court, for you are a Moor, and a Moor is land. So you have taken it from off the water back to land. Understand?
I got you.
No actions can be taken against a sovereign in a non-constitutional court of either the United States or the state courts of any such action is considered the crime of barbarity. Barbarity is an offense at common law. Somebody pull out their Black's Law Dictionary and read barbarity. What does it mean? We'll wait. And what is a non-constitutional court? Article 1, court. Article 2, court, or non-constitutional. Only Article 3 court, which is mentioned within the Constitution, equals or has the ability to be a constitutional court. Somebody got their Black's Law Dictionary? Please look up arbitrary.
I have a doc.
All right.
All right. Barratry. The offense of frequently exciting and stirring up quarrels and suits, either at law or otherwise. State versus Batson, 220 North Carolina, NC 411 17 SE 2D 511 512 513. In maritime law, an act committed by master or mariners of a vessel for some fraudulent or unlawful purpose contrary to their duty to the owner and resulting in injury to the owner.
All right. What does the first definition mean to you? What is it saying to you?
Basically, false accusations,
Right.
um, stirring up offense and frequently exciting and stirring up quarrels and suits. Um, yeah, basically fraudulent activity.
Right.
Um,
And isn't that
or,
what they do?
yeah, false allegations. Yeah, that's exactly what they
Hmm.
do.
Right.
Because they assume they're always assuming that um, anybody who comes into their courtroom is under their jurisdiction.
Exactly.
Exactly. They will always presume you a corporation unless, as Dr. Lim say, you express your truth
Exactly.
as evidence that you're not.
Dr. Ali, do we even need
Yes.
to come to court?
I don't know what you're saying.
I say, do we even need to come to court? Yes, by coming to court, we are consenting. We are playing the game by, okay, you need to come to court.
No,
Don't
I
we are
already spoke
consenting
on
just
that.
by coming to court?
You go into court with a special appearance under threat of arrest or coercion. If you don't go to court, they're going to send their sheriff after you and arrest you for failure to
Yep,
appear.
you're gonna have a
So,
warrant out for you.
right, you have a warrant. So why would you do that? You go to court with a special appearance. I said that earlier. A special appearance, a restricted appearance. You're only there under threat, arrest, or coercion. You're not a 14th Amendment citizen because the 14th Amendment was never fully ratified. And you're, based on the Dred Scott case decision, you're not a citizen, nor will you ever be. So the court will have to prove jurisdiction over subject matter and persona. Now, if you don't want to go to court, that's your decision. But best believe they will have a sheriff after you to arrest you for failure to appear because you will have a warrant.
So every time they told me to come to court, okay, I be obedience and consent and come to court. Otherwise, I would get a warrant and arrest.
What did I just say? You must have a written affidavit of special appearance that you must send in prior to you going to court. That way, they know that you're under special appearance. You're not there under general appearance. And general appearance means that you didn't put anything in to say otherwise. You're not protecting yourself. So to protect yourself, you must have a written affidavit of a special appearance. Somebody read for me special appearance and general appearance. Black's Law Dictionary, please. So everybody can understand the difference. Black's Law Dictionary.
Yeah, I have it, Doc.
All right.
I'm gonna start with general appearance. I haven't looked up
Okay.
special appearance yet.
All right.
General appearance. Consent to the jurisdiction of the court and a
Oh,
waiver of.
right there. The first sentence already said that you consent to the appearance in the court. You already gave up your right. So that's a general appearance. You never go to court with a general appearance. You always go to court with a restricted or special appearance. But continue on.
Yep. Consent to the jurisdiction of the court and a waiver of all jurisdictional defects except the competency of the court.
Mm. So now you're dependent on the court who has jurisdiction over you to rule over you, to assume over you, presume over you, and do what it wants to do to you. Not under a special appearance, though. So you must have a written special appearance affidavit. You're not giving up any rights when you do a special appearance. You're not waiving any constitutional rights or guaranteed constitutional rights. You're not waiving any natural rights. In fact, you're questioning the jurisdiction of the court, as I stated earlier.
Okay, I'm not finding special appearance.
Okay, you found general appearance. Was that under appearance?
Oh no, it was under just special appearance. That's how it was in the dictionary.
Okay.
Actually, let me look under appearance. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Yeah, I have appearance. I'm not seeing special appearance either.
You don't see special appearance?
No, I just have appearance. Noun, late
Okay.
14th century, visible state of or form, figure, mere, show.
Okay. If you don't find it based on your Black's Law Dictionary, based on the edition, what you will want to do is simply pull it up online, Google it, and see what it says, special appearance.
I got it.
Yes.
A special appearance is a legal tool that allows a party to challenge a court jurisdiction over them. It can also
Say that one more. Say that one more time, because that first sentence was beautiful.
a special appearance is a legal tool that
A legal
allows
tool.
a party to challenge a court jurisdiction over them.
Mm. So when you go to court, you must have a special appearance. Never go to court without having a written affidavit, tool, special appearance. Everybody understand? You must have it in before you go to court. So that means it must be sent in certified mail return receipt to the criminal division or section of the courthouse. with your case number on the envelope, dealing with the matter, dealing with that case. Everybody understand?
Yes, question. So you said criminal division. What about the clerk of court?
That's the
And you said
civil.
it. That's a civil.
That's the
Gotcha.
civil. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I did that when I did I had a court case for, traveling. They was trying to deprive me of my traveling rights. So I sent
Correct.
in my own to the clerk, and then the judge got it.
And the charge did what?
I sent mine to the clerk through
Mhm.
certified mail, and then she sent it to the judge.
They will do that because naturally all cases are civil. Okay? All
Okay.
cases naturally are civil.
Dr. Alim, should you
And
always
actually, mm-hmm.
besides the affidavit, should you always keep yourself protected, like in a means of, you know how I think there's a story that Bobby Hemming talked about. It was a lady, she poured libations or something like that, and she got the court to work in her favor. Should you always keep yourself protected in that case? Because I mean
Of
I do
course.
it, but I'm just saying for
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah, you read Psalms, yes. Read Psalm 7 and 11, and you light a blue candle so that everything goes good in the court case.
Right.
That's the magic portion prior to going to court. So once again, Psalms 7 and 11, blue candle, white candle. Repeal the negativity and request good communication. That's what the blue is for. Good communication and judgment in a court case. So yes, if you forget that, then you should say the Lord's Prayer or the 23rd Psalm.
I also keep a Anubis statue in the car as well to couple the Florida water. So
Yes, you can do that as well. Harriet Tubman in the back seat. She never lost a passenger. Okay? All right. Whereas this court tribunal is acting under statutes which are not law unless supported by law and must be produced for the record, as no statutes can violate the rights secured by the people in the supreme law, the Republic Constitution for the United States of America, established to protect the rights of the people, of which every state, state constitution, state court, charter, subcharter, chapter, subchapter, association, agency, entity, corporation, XL must abide by and cannot abrogate. So when they bring you into court, they're stating that you have violated a statute. But if that statute is not supported by the Constitution or one of the four constitutions, then that statute has no ability. In fact, it's null and void. In fact, when acting to enforce a statute and its subsequent amendments to the present date, the judge of the municipality or municipal court is acting as an administrative agent or officer and can in a judicial and cannot be in a judicial capacity. Courts in administrating and enforcing statutes do not act judicially, but merely administratively. All right. So he acting as a minister. This is Thompson versus Smith. So he's not being a judge when he used the statutes. He is nothing but an administrator. And that's all they use in Article 1 and Article 2 courts, or statute codes, rules, regulations, ordinances, policies, etc. In particular statutes, they say you violated a statute. And because you violated a statute, which is not constitutional.
Peace, Doc.
Yes.
The previous slide. Where's that excerpt from?
Which one?
Your previous slide. Yeah, that slide there. Where can that be found?
That is from a book in which that I have. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. There's a book called The Fruit from a Poisonous Tree.
Okay. The fruit from the poisonous tree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks, Doc.
Also, read any Johnny Liberty books. Johnny Liberty.
Dr. Ali, I got a question.
Yes.
Thank you. What about if somebody has a diplomatic immunity as an ambassador?
Then that's completely out of disinformation, basically. Because now you're dealing with the United Nations.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, what did you say?
You're dealing with information coming from the United Nations. In order to be a diplomat, you had to be connected to the United Nations.
Is the book from Malvin Stamper?
Yes. Who was a lawyer? In fact, the JD, Judicial Doctorate. All right. So the sovereign technically has unalienable rights, not constitutional rights. We all call them constitutional rights, but they're not. They are unalienable rights secured by constitutions, state and federal. The basis of any inalienable right is established in the Declaration of Independence: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This document very clearly states that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Look for the mention of God or unalienable rights in the Constitution, and you will not find them. But it is in the Declaration of Independence. Okay. And somebody read this for me.
Convinced that it is the unalienable rights of all our people to control our own destiny. Persuaded to the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Constitution of the United States, and the Bill of Rights are the principles in which we believe that these documents, if put into practice, represents the essence of mankind's hope and good intentions. So we must take it out of the hands of the United States government. And the only way we can do this is by internationalizing it, by taking advantage of the United Nations Declarations of Human Rights, the United Nations Charter on Human Rights, and on that ground, bring it into the UN before a world body where in we can indict Uncle Sam for the continued criminal injustices that our people experience in this government.
Now, Malcolm, as you hear, was moving very closely to what we are doing. He almost had it. Almost. Except for the nationality part. Everything else is on point. Everything else is what we're doing. Anybody else see anything else within the words of Malcolm and or Al-Haj Malik al-Shabazz, as he stated here?
Yes, the fact that he says that's the only way we can control our own destiny.
Exactly.
By becoming sovereign again, basically.
Right. Exactly.
He's still stuck on the fact that he. You can go ahead.
No, I was saying that he also said by internationalizing it. So first nationalize and then internationalize. Because that's the thing. Whenever we nationalize, we put the information already at an international level because we've gone to the United Nations and within the treaty department of the United Nations, we have placed our information so that whenever we nationalize, it correlates.
Whenever we nationalize, basically domestically, it correlates internationally through the United Nations.
Yes.
It's just crazy that he knew this in the 60s. Like, that's just crazy to me.
Exactly.
That was probably after he realized what was happening, and then he meditated on, you know.
Yeah, this is when he left the Nation of Islam.
Right.
So this is where the UN High Commissioner of Human Rights comes into play. That.
Right. Exactly.
So if we have any kind of injustices that we run into here, we could take it to the federal, but also I'll contact the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights.
Right. Right. Exactly. See, these are the points that we have to be paying attention to. Now, of course, we can add in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, etc. We can add those documents into what Malcolm just stated here. This is why they became afraid of Malcolm, because he was politicizing the movement, making people think to this level. As long as he was just talking about the white man is the devil, That blonde haired, blue eyed thing. Walk on twos. He sick his dog with 4 legs onto the woman, biting her breast. And as long as he was talking like that, no problem. But when he started politicizing the movement with this information here, oh shit. The nigga is too close. The only thing is that
Sorry, Doc, go ahead.
no, go ahead, God.
I was just saying that he had the numbers too.
Right. Exactly. And if he would have hooked up with the land rights, nationality, his statement here would have been over. He was on the right path. No doubt about it. This is why he's one of my favorite of all times. Okay. This is in our paperwork, but it's not even the Inter-American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. It's just American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People now. And this is the Indigenous Peoples definition. In this definition or declaration, Indigenous people are those who embody historical continuity with societies which existed prior to the conquest and settlement of their territories by Europeans. Now, that one sentence makes it plain. Makes it plain. And it says, as well as people brought involuntarily to the New World who freed themselves and reestablished the culture from which they've been torn. Now, that means in both instances, indigenous people or those who was already here, descendants of the Olmecs, as well as those who was brought here 400 years ago, according to the slave trade scenario or stories in which they've been told. In either case, we are indigenous by this definition. But you have stupid ass RBG, red, black, and green, those who diss the Moors. You have silly Moors who disrespect the RBGs, and they come from the same school of thought. Prophet Noble Drew Ali specifically stated that the forerunner of his movement of the Moor Science Temple of America, or the Moorish Divine National Movement, or the Moorish Holy Temple Science of the World, was Marcus Garvey. So that's fine if you want to state that you are a pure African, which if you have shovel teeth in your mouth, you're not. African is your descent for those who believe so heartily in the slave trade, hold so heartily within the transatlantic slave trade? That is fine. I just recommend that you do your research on the shovel teeth, because pure Africans do not have shovel teeth. Europeans do not have shovel teeth. Native Americans and more than 20% of Asians have shovel teeth. So you have to ask yourself, how in the hell did your so-called African ass get damn shovel teeth in your mouth, stating that you're pure African? Obviously, you're not. If you have shovel teeth, you're Asiatic. This is what is meant by what Prophet Noble Ali stated, that you are an Asiatic Moor. This is what is meant by Master Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad when stating the Asiatic black man, as well as Minister Farrakhan, as well as Clarence 13X, known as Father Allah, as well as Malcolm X, El Hashim Malik El Shabazz, or Mawali, stating the Asiatic black man. This Asiatic black man is talking about the fact that you have these teeth in your mouth, in which that makes you non-African. And I don't mean non-African in the sense that you're not related to Africans, because you are. There's been many impacts over the last 100,000 years between the Americans and the Africans. But this distinguishes you from the Africans, as they do not have shovel teeth. They have straight teeth. As well as tribal persons or peoples whose society, culture, and economic conditions distinguish them from other sectors or sections of the national community, and whose statute is regulated wholly or partially by their own customs, traditions, or by special laws or regulations. So notice the ones on reservations are the last ones mentioned as indigenous people. Did y'all notice that? Well, that's what that last definition or that last sentence was talking about. Those who embody historical continuity with society, or those who's living in society. That's talking about us. Prior to the conquest, settlement of their territories by Europeans. That's talking about us, not those on the reservations. And then it talks about those who was born here involuntarily. These are Africans brought to the so-called New World. And then you have those on the reservation. So the United Nations know who is the most indigenous people on the planet Earth. In fact, they gave us the definition or the honors of that by allowing us to refer to ourselves as the oldest indigenous people on the planet Earth, the Washita. Okay. Article 4. Indigenous peoples in exercising their right to self-determination have the right to autonomy or self-government in matters relating to their internal and local affairs, as well as ways and means of financing their autonomous functions. We as United Washington deduct the money operates autonomously from the Empire Washington Ministry, a 501c3 yet to be dissolved. Therefore, we acknowledge the late Empress Bordiasi Tierra Washington Trinity Gaston El-Bey, as stated in the above video of the late Crown Prince Huton Tupac Bey. Read Article 9 in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. It states specifically, indigenous people and individuals have the right to belong to an indigenous community or nation in accordance with the traditions and customs of the community or nation concerned. No discrimination of any kind may arise from the exercise of such a right. So when you have the United States government via the court system trying to get at you, they're discriminating. And based on Article 9, they're not supposed to discriminate. So you can question them about jurisdiction, question them about discrimination, and put a dollar amount for the discrimination. Because you have the right, according to Article 9, to be and belong to an indigenous community or nation. So by declaring your nationality, you have the right to a nation. Article 33, indigenous people have the right to determine their own identity or membership in accordance with their customs and traditions. This does not impair the right of indigenous individuals to obtain citizenship of the states in which they live. Indigenous people have the right to determine the structures and to select the membership of their institutions in accordance with their own procedures. So a lot of people are paper chasers, and so they go from one group to another trying to understand the different procedures. But these are procedures in which that, even according to the United Nations, may be different, and it doesn't matter because each institution has the right to determine their own structure, thus their own procedures. So we as United Washington deduct the money nation more. We have the right to identity or identify our nationals by way of nationality ID, affidavits, and to put them on the public record, etc. The fact that these affidavits are on the public record shows that a declaration or proclamation has been made. And it puts you under the rules of evidence. You have the federal rules of evidence and you have state rules of evidence. And these are very important because these are exhibits A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3 however you want to say it, in which that can be utilized in a court case to verify your position. In the court's non-judicial capacity. '34. Indigenous people have the right to promote, develop, maintain their institutional structures and their distinctive customs, spirituality, traditions, procedures, practices, and in the case where they exist, judicial systems or customs in accordance with the international human rights standards. Article 40. Indigenous people have the right to access to and prompt decision through just and fair procedures for their resolution of conflict and disputes with states or other parties. Remember, it's the state that's always coming after you in a court case. The state of North Carolina versus Mustafa Bay, as well as to the effect remedies for all infringements of the individuals and collective rights. Such a decision shall be given or give due consideration to the customs, traditions, rules, and legal systems of the indigenous peoples concerned and international human rights. Now, let me say this. The goddess Kendake is graduating very soon from the law program of indigenous law. I too will be right behind her soon. But this gives us the ability for a legal system.
Congratulations.
Yes, everybody need to be giving the goddess a hand.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Couldn't have done it.
Kudos.
A lot
Kudos,
more.
kudos.
Congratulations.
Say it again, goddess, what you say?
And I said also thank you to you, Dr. Alim, and everybody on here, because I've learned a lot through all of you guys.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm still
you being
learning.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you,
Oh, yeah.
goddess.
Thank
yeah,
you.
we're all still learning. We're all still learning. But we're trying to put it together for our people, you know, to make sense out of this nonsense, you know, as they say,
Right.
make sense out of the madness. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, you have any updates yet on your graduation?
Dr. Rhoda, I remember she just said, watch your email and even your personal mail, and it should be around, I think she said like the weekend of May 8th. She said like week May 8th, 9th, and 10th, free, because it should be like those around those dates.
Right.
That's about it. That's all. Yeah,
All
she
right.
set that up, you know, right before our last class ended.
Right.
But that's about it. That's all she said.
Right. Beautiful. All right. So we will have our first indigenous lawyer. So that will correlate to the information in which that we're now reading within the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People about a judicial system and about a quote unquote law system. a legal system. Okay. All right. So I'm in here. Are there any questions concerning anything that we've gone over?
Just regarding the UN Declaration of Rights on Indigenous People.
Mm-hmm.
Also, any violation of those rights, that's a form of genocide in and of itself as well.
Yes, it is. Discrimination, genocide, yes. Exactly.
I do got a question.
Mm-hmm.
For the lady that's graduating law school, how do you go about that? Say, for instance, if I wanted to get into that.
Let's see. It was a master's degree program. I just applied. Just with any college, as soon as you get on the website, they're always trying to get your information. So, I just put in my information, and then they email me and call me. So of course, since it was a master's degree, you had to have a bachelor's degree. And then from there, once you sign up, they have you. I remember I had to put down a deposit, I think $100 deposit or something, and they ask you questions, and of course, you apply for financial aid, and that's pretty much it. And it didn't seem like the program was as hard to get into as I thought it would be, but that's about it. Just fill in, give them your information, and they contact you. And then, of course, they also ask for what do you call it, transcripts from high school or college. And I'm actually wanting to go back. I do want to go back into some other part of law. I haven't decided what yet, but whatever would be the most beneficial for us. But of course, I got to get this debt discharge and finish this asset protection process first before I do.
What law are you studying right now?
I'm sorry?
Indigenous.
Indigenous?
Yes. Master of Legal Studies in Indigenous Peoples Law, Oklahoma University online.
Okay. Thanks. Congratulations again. Thank you for the information.
Yep.
And I have the same plan too. I want to go back for human rights degree. So.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well too, because the other day I was thinking about it to myself, because I know in this class we talked a lot about civil stuff in general and human rights, and I was just looking civil versus human versus civil, what's the difference? They both work with people, but human rights, the website I looked at just basically said it's everybody around the world, just basic stuff, basic law, basic biblical, just natural stuff, just common sense stuff. And I was thinking about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, y'all. One more time, give it up for the goddess for being the first to graduate. May 8th, 9th, 10th. If y'all want to go out and support the Sooner, as she's called, anyone who goes or attend the University of Oklahoma is called a Sooner. So keep those dates in mind. I plan on going. I want to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations one more time, goddess.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ashe, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to say hi to Washington to everyone.
Washitaish.
I'll say Washitaish.
Tay Washitaish.
I'll say Washitaish.
Yeah, Tay Washitaish.